Hey, Brian, I'm mad at you.
What are you mad at me about?
Okay, well, I'm not mad. We were in the middle of a heated debate and we're like, we should be recording, but we have a lot to talk about.
Uh-huh.
But let's just dive into what we're like our debate real quick and then we'll get into the new year. You think that if someone isn't consistently playing at parties that use your potluck example for coming to parties.
You want me to use my potluck
I
example?
thought that was a
Okay,
good
so
example.
people, let me just frame it up for them because they're jumping into an episode and they have no idea what's going on. Layla and I are debating the what like people. There are people who have patterns of going to parties and not playing, and I just think that they should just not go to play parties. Then, if you're consistently going, you should not. You should to play parties. You're taking up space. Like these people all have caps, right? They're like, I'm gonna have Yo, look, I know it's a hot topic, and I know I don't think everyone's gonna like it, but
No,
if
sorry,
I'm
keep
like I
going,
have
keep going.
30, if I have 30 people that I can have at my party, and I invite you as one of them, and then you show up and you don't play, because by the way, you're not the only one who does it. So like let's say a few people show up and then they don't play. One time, that's fine, right? Like, okay, you feel sick, maybe you had food poisoning, whatever. I get that. Um, but like the pattern of it, so if it's like 10 parties in a row, or like the last year I keep going to all these parties and I don't ever play, in my mind I'm like, okay, then therefore if there is a limit on the number of people that can be at the party, then stop taking the slot from someone else that can go and play, because it just creates like a natural imbalance. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. Like if you go on Reddit, go on the Reddit swingers chat, and like I challenge you to scroll without seeing some comment about something like this,
Well, that's because
right?
you, Brian, are in the swingers Reddit, where I am in the non monogamous Reddit, right? So we are in different Reddit worlds, and I think we just think so differently. I think if someone it doesn't play consistently, I don't fucking care because I still love them. Dress sexy, be your best self, come hang out, let's vibe, let's flirt, let's whatever. Like I still love you, and I want to get like how have you been? How's the new job? Like I don't think anyone's wasting space at all. And I think that type of thinking and mentality is what makes women especially feel guilty for going to parties maybe when they're like, I don't really feel like playing, but there's people like Brian and the fucking swinger Reddit world that are going to judge me and think that I don't bring value to this party. So when you say playing, you're saying like sexual intercourse, blowing, being naked, like touching, like what when I almost think that play is almost just sometimes that's just a fun conversation while wearing lingerie. And like to me, that'll give me butterflies more than just someone sticking it in. So like my definition of like playing is different than yours, I imagine.
It's a play party though. It's not like a hangout if it's a hangout at the house and someone's like, "Yeah, we're having a hangout, just come through," then that's fine. Like you can do whatever you want there. And like the potluck example I gave that Layla was upset about, I was like, okay, let's say you keep throwing potlucks and this person keeps saying they're going to come to your potluck and they keep bringing crackers. Eventually you're going to be like, yo, they just keep bringing crackers. They keep bringing crackers. Now, like, look, I don't know what the cracker is in my analogy. I just say analogy sometimes and I don't know what I'm defining. But the problem is like they're usually coming in a couple and the guy's always playing. The guy is never taking a night off. He's never showing up like, I'm just gonna look sexy, hang out, chat with the dudes, and just like observe what's happening. That is not the case. And so they're going to a play party so he can play and she's not playing. So what I was saying is like at a certain point, like that person shouldn't count as a plus one. I'm not bringing a plus one I'm not bringing my sister or my pastor, right, to observe. They just want to see a play party. So I got to bring a girl. So let me bring any girl, even though they don't plan on playing. Like that's kind of fucked up at some point. I think that's like bringing crackers to the potluck.
Nope, sometimes I want a cracker. Sometimes the other food is too rich. And sometimes I want to take a break and just like eat a cracker.
Okay, but
So
you keep saying sometimes. So like if it is occasionally that person is like, hey, I'm not gonna play today, that's
mm,
fine. But after like 10 potlucks of bringing crackers, someone who like the person who runs the potluck is gonna be like, hey, listen, you are like, it's fair for other people to be like, this bitch is always bringing crackers. And look, you can still keep going to the potluck and bringing crackers if that's what you want to do. And if you like eating crackers later, you eat them. I think it's okay for me to be like kind of judgmental about it. If every time I'm making like karage or something, I'm going really far with this like analogy. I get that. But I'm just like trying to compare it to something else. Like, yes, this is a hobby, right? And this is all just fun. But Happy New Year. I'm still the same guy though, and I'm still gonna look at patterns. I'm a
Okay.
pattern machine, dude. So like the
The thing is
pattern.
you're thinking like a swinger. You're thinking like a swinger, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm thinking like a more EN, right? Where I see more value in the connections than I do with sex. And I think you see more value at parties with sex than with connection.
Oh, I'm just talking about play parties.
I know,
Like,
me too.
if it's a hangout or like a hangout at the club or whatever, then no, there's tons of value in all this other stuff that you're talking about.
I'm thinking of like these big parties that are like 50 plus people, right?
Yeah,
I think, are
50
you
plus
thinking of
people.
like, okay.
Yeah, and the host like went and curated a list, and
Mm.
they curated a list so that there'd be balance, so that there would be like a solid number of like men and women, right, or singles or not singles that are playing. By the way, like, and this is what I was saying from Reddit, and like, it's not just on the swinger Reddits. You gotta stop saying that. Like, when people are like, "Hey, we don't allow single guys at parties, or we don't want to add single guys to the community," like, this is part of what is driving that. It's there. Don't like I think some of the women want more single guys at the parties, but there isn't really space for a lot more guys because there's already guys at the party that can't play because of the imbalance. So we can like nip this in the bud for today,
Sure.
and we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree with it,
And we don't.
but you know
I still love you.
that's
You're
how I
still
feel.
sexy. You're still hot. I still want to do you, but I just think you're stupid and I'm right. But that's fine. I missed you.
Happy New Year.
Happy freaking New Year.
Hmm.
Are you safe from these fires?
I'm hydrating. All right, so we're recording this. It's January 9th, and I don't know why I checked my watch to see the date. Yeah, so there's fires raging in LA right now, and that started. I want to say it started 2 days ago.
Yeah.
We got these high wind warnings, and it was ripping, man. I want to say that the palm trees, the fact that palm trees are still standing is kind of wild. Like some weird. Some of the wind gusts were getting up to like 80, 90.
Mm-hmm.
So the Palisades caught on fire. Pasadena caught on fire. Actually, I moved out of Pasadena last summer. Had I still been in Pasadena, we would have had to evacuate. So these aren't like these aren't like fires in like a small part of town of some rural part an hour outside of LA. These are major population centers in LA. And then there was a party that popped up in the Hollywood Hills yesterday. We had some friends that had to evacuate. And it's so eerie because there's this forest fire, like brush fire they're trying to fight. The background on the helicopter is like Hollywood Boulevard. All the lights are still on. It looks like party as normal. So I'm safe right now. A fire popped up about a mile from me yesterday, but they were able to get to it.
Yeah.
I think part of the issue is roads access. Like, can they get fire trucks up there fast enough? And I think people think about LA like it is kind of like concrete and sprawling streets and stuff like that. And so you think there's a street everywhere, but there's actually a lot of wild hillside surrounding LA.
Yeah.
And that brush has just been growing. Like, we've been in a drought. The brush has been growing. Throw some wind at it. Now, there's been some conspiracy theories. I don't know if you've heard these about like the fires popping up and where they're popping up. Have you heard any of this stuff?
All I've heard is that some people are considering arson. Like, that's kind of what I don't really know much more about the conspiracy.
Yeah. Did you see that on like a thread, or did you see that online?
I saw it in our WhatsApp group. Someone was like, "Oh, my friend saw someone get out of a car and like they looked sketch and they did some stuff. They got back in the car, they sped off, and then there was a fire."
Yeah. Yeah. So I've heard that there's looting happening. So people are evacuating, and then other people are looting homes
Jesus.
behind those evacuations. which is
Wow.
crazy fucked up. So you would think that, all right, let me put that together. If people start fires, that causes evacuations and they can loot. Yeah, that's a conspiracy right there. Fires start for all sorts of reasons though.
Yeah.
So it's just fuel conditions, and then spark.
There's like Allie Carter. Do you know who that is?
No.
So Allie Carter was one of the victims of Diddy, and she said like a month ago that we can count on there being fires in the new year because they're trying to burn evidence. So there's another conspiracy. I mean, like I could go on and on about like conspiracies,
I
but
just took a deep breath. I mean, there's all sorts of like another conspiracy I heard was that the insurance companies pulled out all the fire insurance last year, to burn it down because they wanted to punish all the wealthy liberals in California who didn't vote for Trump. And then another one was like they're trying to clear out land for the Olympics. I don't know how this would benefit the Olympics. And it comes at this time when Zuckerberg and his crews are trying to allow for more free speech. We're just gonna get dumber, dude. Like we're gonna get dumber, and it's gonna be so hard to tell what's true and what isn't.
But regardless of like conspiracies and like, I mean, it's it's horrible. It's so sad. People are losing their homes. I lost my home to a fire a year and a half ago. Like it's really devastating. It's super traumatic. And it has been so sad watching, LA burn. But it's also been really beautiful at the same time to see all of our WhatsApp groups and our text threads and all that, where everyone's like, okay, like this is the update. I know so-and-so lives over here. Have you evacuated? Everyone can come stay with us. Come stay with us. Like it's been so much support and so much love that I just can't imagine other people having the kind of support that we have.
Yeah, that's been I agree with you, Layla. It's been super unique because we're finding stuff out way faster than most people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you have like 100+ contact points getting information from different places.
Right.
And so like you just made a good point. A fire just popped, like as we're talking and as we started recording this, another fire pops up in the Hollywood Hills. We found that out from friends in this WhatsApp group. It's still not on the app, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what'll happen is like 20 minutes later, it'll pop up on the app. And so the benefit of being in, like, I think it's like one of the benefits of like living in a blue zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like those little blue zones where people live longer than everywhere else. And it's that sense of community that they have even as they get older that like keeps them young and keeps them fresh. And like, I reheard that recently, and I thought about the play space in LA and how these groups kind of serve as like information funnels. Like I was seeing stuff in the WhatsApp group before it went to Twitter and went viral on Twitter. And so that's been really interesting and helpful. And it has felt safe. It's made me feel safe and made me feel like I had a place to go.
Yep.
Right. So I totally agree with you.
Like
it
we all
also
take
does
care of each
help
other.
with the fear. It also does help with the fear a little bit, but we do take care of each other.
Yeah, like whether we're taking care of each other with like STIs or whether it's like more emotionally taking care of each other or supporting each other in like a project or an adventure or whatever, or a natural disaster. Like this has been just confirmation that our community is just, whether there's sex or not, like we hold more value than just sex, huh, Brian?
Absolutely. I'm talking about play parties, Layla.
I know. We let that die. I'm just annoyed at you.
It's in the word, yo. Like, so if you're not gonna play, like, let people know you don't plan on playing, and like, yo, bring something else. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't. My potluck example's gold, Layla. You ever been to a potluck where everybody brings drinks and nobody brings food?
I am just.
And it's great because you're like, oh yeah, we all got to like drink something, but I'm hungry. Fucking hungry.
Then there's plenty of more food to eat. Don't pick up the saltines. Go get the fucking pot roast. Like,
exactly.
Walk past the saltines.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have to like focus on the saltines.
So all I'm saying is like occasionally it would be nice if the person is always bringing crackers, brought a pot roast occasionally. And if they're like, you know what, I keep bringing crackers, occasionally I'm going to bring a pot roast. Anyway, moving on. Happy New Year, Layla.
Happy fucking New Year.
Is there any to
Annie's
start
giving
the
a
year?
thumbs up. She's like, let's get back on track, you psychos.
So it's a new year. People always make New Year's resolutions. I haven't talked to you, so I don't know if you made any. Did you set a goal for the new year? Have you stuck with it? Give me an update.
Yeah, so I have like some resolutions that's like, more family time and like eating better and exercise, like the basic shit. And then I put on there I wanted to find someone like consistent to like spend some time with, which we are going to talk about later too. Kind of found someone I'm excited about. And then I had on there that I wanted to perform on a stage, like whether that was like music or whether that was like another squirting performance or whether that was whatever. Like I love just being on stage in general. So one of my resolutions was to like perform in a local band or something like that, right? And that's all I can remember right now.
Okay.
Um,
Have any of them gone horrible, or are they all going well?
they're all going well. Yeah, they're all going well. It's really cute because my kids have been taking music lessons for like the last 6 months, and like I'm already there anyway. So I took singing lessons because I loved singing when I was younger, and I did like the American Idol juniors from like way back in the day. I was like top 100, which was super fun. Um, and so like I've always loved singing, but it's such a vulnerable thing. Same as lifestyle, it's a very vulnerable thing. So I've just kind of always kept it a secret. And then the guy who's my music teacher, I was like singing a song yesterday and he was like, we're performing on the 25th. I need you to come up on stage and sing this song. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my like resolutions. I like sent it out into the universe. My husband and I took our resolutions and every night we would like burn it and like set our intention. And we did that every night with our resolutions and kind of did this like woo woo spiritual fun thing with it. And I did that one the other night. And then the universe just like presented it to me, which is fucking crazy. So yeah,
Wait,
so
they
far,
presented what? The singing
yeah,
part?
that was like, you want to perform? Here you go.
I've never heard you sing.
No. Yeah. And you may never.
No, I think because I think to me, like most listeners, I'm like, okay, then Layla, can we hear you sing then?
No.
You're
No, I'm
not gonna
nervous.
sing a note, not even like
No.
one.
No. I'd rather die. No.
You
Okay.
would rather
Yeah, I'd rather die. But
die.
so I'm performing Misery Business by Paramore. And so like that's the song that I'm singing on stage. I'll record it and I'll send it to you
Whoa, wait, you
if it's
won't
good.
sing right now on the
No.
podcast in
I'm
front of
still
two people?
nervous.
We
No.
could cut it, but
No.
you're gonna perform in front of how many people are gonna be there?
I don't know, it's going to be like a full bar. It's like a bar. It's not like anything crazy.
This is practice right here, Layla.
No, I'm scared. Cody just heard
Fine.
me sing for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Wow. Wow.
And
All
it was
right,
really
people.
cute. He sobbed like a baby. He was so like, he was like, I had no idea what. And he's like crying. He's like, this is amazing. It was really sweet. But no, let me see how I do. Let me see how I perform. I'll record it. And if I think it sounds good, I'll send it.
This is horrible. I hate this plan. So this is so funny because, one feedback point we got from the audience, like we took a break for the winter and we like, asked a bunch of people what they thought, not the winter, just December, what they thought about the podcast, and they wanted more one-on-one episodes with the two of us, and then they also wanted more progressive stories and us giving updates over time.
Mhm.
So I didn't know your singing career was starting this year, and now this is going to be like a progressive story that we're going to check in on and how that
Do
show
it.
went. I'll talk about my goals in a second, but I do want to go I just want to jump in because one of the stories you wanted to cover was, you're right, at the last episode of last year, we were talking about one of the last episodes of last year was like what we aimed to do in 2024 and what we missed. And
Mhm.
one of the things you did set this year was that you wanted to have a partner or someone you were dating consistently. And
Mhm.
so I don't think you talked about this last year, but you did meet a guy, and I think you took him to his first play party.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Did you take crackers or did he play though?
he played. I didn't
Okay,
bring
great.
crackers.
You
Fuck
took a
off.
pot roast.
God.
Exactly. Look, she didn't look, Annie. She didn't even want to she didn't even take crackers to the party, but she's mad at me. Continue,
Okay, so
Layla.
I met him on Field like years ago, and then I invited him into the Discord servers that we have, and he met some of my friends, and he went out with some of my friends. They said he was a delight, very polite. He's married, has kids, like great guy, super awesome. He's been lifestyle basically for like his whole life, and I don't think either of us at the time were in a place mentally where we could have had anything healthy, It still would have been fun, but it would have been toxic. And I really enjoy him. He's just like tall and tatted and just like, I just want to chain smoke cigarettes and rob banks with him. You know what I mean? Like, he's just bad. He's like this bad boy, but it's healthy. He's great in bed, super, super good in bed. But yeah, I took him to his first play party the beginning of December, and he seemed to have a really good time. But we might cut this part, but can I tell you? Okay, so God, no, I'll talk about
Wait,
it.
can we give, because we're going to talk about him in the future too. Can we give him a name that we can consistently refer to him to at?
So we'll call him Clyde. And
Okay.
yeah, it's just like, and what's so great is I think I always imagined that I wanted kind of that monogamous way of thinking of boyfriend, right? Where it's like we talk every day and we see each other once or twice a week, and it's like a real, like, boxy relationship, but it's perfect because we'll talk, I don't know, maybe every 3 days, and it's super light and it's chill. And when I see him, it's like no time has passed. And it's just like, and he loves dates in the day, so we can both get home to our children and be able to put them down and spend time with the family. And it's just, the dynamic is so perfect. And it's just not what I thought I wanted, but now I'm like, this is exactly what I want.
Yo, I wish I could grab what you just said and like that should be something everyone has to watch when they join a dating app. Should be like, hey, what I thought I wanted is exactly the opposite of what I got, and I'm way happier
Yep.
now.
Yep. I'm still
Because I think
unlearning
we always
monogamy.
think we always think we know what we want.
But I think what I
This is so fun.
wanted isn't necessarily the healthiest when I do have, a new career, and I do have kids, and I have a husband, and I, like, live further away from everybody. And this is healthier, and I'm stoked for it.
For sure. I'm happy for you. I
Thank
am happy for
you.
you. But I want to go back because you said that you took him to his first party and then you kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
like went on a tangent. So,
Yeah.
one, I'm
So,
confused. You said he's been in the lifestyle for a long time, but he's never been to a party. I'm
right.
curious why that is.
Well, I don't know if he's ever really had the opportunity to go to like one of our crew's kind of parties, right? Like, I think he's gone to, like Hollywood parties or whatever, but nothing that's like curated and safe and like we're all there for the, same reason, right? So he goes, and it was really cute because as we all know, most men at these parties are taking something to stay hard, right? Because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of stimulus.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I asked him, I was like, hey, like, do you want like a Blue Chew or something like that? He's like, oh, no, I won't need it. Right? Everyone says that. And there was this girl that wanted to hook up with him, and they went and tried to hook up, and he had a difficult like maintaining an erection, and she was kind of a bitch about it. And she like came back up to me and was like if does he think I'm gonna like suck his to get him hard, like that. And I was like, oh my God, you are literally the worst example of how a party should
Wait,
be.
what? She like expected him to just be hard already when she got there?
She took offense to it because he didn't get hard for her.
From just like smelling her or from like just like holding her hand or something? He like, what
I
did
don't
she
know.
expect?
I don't know.
I thought women liked being the one to get it hard.
Not this one. And so when she came up to me and was like, yeah, like your friend's not that cool or like whatever. And I was like, I kind of hate that. Cause then I'm like, oh my God, poor Clyde is in the other room at his first party. And like, I don't know what this girl said to him or if she was like, oh, forget it or like something like that. So I was like, oh my God, this is so sad. And,
Wow.
like, and I was talking to him about it later, and he's like, yeah, like because him and I ended up hooking up at that party, and he's like, yeah, no, I can be better. It can be better. Like, it wasn't hard enough. I did. And I was like, Clyde, like, I loved having sex with you, and I loved sucking your, and I love soft in my mouth. I think it's like I like it, So I just felt really bad for him that his first play experience at his first play party was with someone that was just, I don't know. I don't know.
Not supportive.
Yeah,
Damn.
so I
That's
didn't
kind of
I
a
didn't love that, but
man, that's such a bit not like I almost said the B word. It's an asshole move. There's just like zero empathy in that for sure. Like and like not just men and women, like not just towards men, because obviously, like if a guy's having trouble, it's more obvious. But like women also have trouble with stuff too. Like you might need lube, you might need a break, like you might be in a K-hole. Like there's so much stuff that could be going on. That lack of empathy is kind of wild. Um, did he
Yeah.
play with anybody else after that, or was he kind of just out of it?
Um, I think after that, like him and I just spent the rest of the night together because that's just what we wanted to do. So we more so just kind of focused on each other. And it was really hot because it was only the second time that him and I spent time together one on one or like together in person. And
Right.
the first date that we went on, it was great. We had amazing chemistry, great conversation. We were in the parking garage. He walked me to my truck. And I mean, you know me, like I'm pretty confident, and I'm like, he's like starting to walk away, and I was like, hello, like, are you not gonna kiss me? And he's all
Yeah.
tall and beautiful, and he comes up to me and like holds my face and like pulls my chin up, and he looks at me and he goes, not right now, and then walks
Exactly.
away. And I went,
Yeah. That
oh,
is, and people, that is exactly how to treat Layla.
it's
That
the
right there, I like
best.
this guy. That is exactly, you
Ah,
dangle the carrot, and then just as she's about to bite it, you like throw it
yes.
in the shredder.
It
It's
was
exactly.
so hot. Well, because again, remember, these dates that I go on with these guys, usually they're like trying to eat me out at 4 o'clock in the middle of the street, you know, like it's a nightmare. And so for this other guy who I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling it now, like go for it, like kiss me, grab me, let's do it. And he's like, not right now. And it kind of put me in this subby space where I was like, and so when we were at the party, we still hadn't kissed. And I was like in the hallway, sorry for the coughs. I was in the hallway and I'm like leaning against the wall, and he, you know, walked past me, and I'm just like giving him the eyes. And I like grabbed his face and like pulled it down and was like, are you going to kiss me now? And he was like, yeah. And we just like, he like
Oh,
slammed me against the wall, and it was like so hot and so passionate. And so after that, we were tied to each other's hips all night.
all right. So we're calling him Clyde, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna keep posting on. I want him to go to another party. I will give him some. I got some stuff to help him out for sure. I'm sure you do too, but
I
it's
invited
just
him
to
to
help the
Mystery
guy out.
Temple coming up, but he's going to be out of town. But he wants me to keep inviting him, so he'll come. You'll meet
See,
him.
this is where, but we can cut this part too because I don't want it to sound rapey. And look at Annie's face. I don't want it. I don't want it to sound crazy, but like, sometimes when I hear about like assholes in the space, and then I get a chance to play with that asshole, I think I have a pattern of being a little bit rough with those people. Not like I'm not hitting them or anything like that, but like because I know they've treated other people certain ways when like they can't get hard or they come super fast. Now it's like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna show up for everybody here. I don't tell them that,
Mhm.
but it is a little game for me. And so knowing who this person was, I don't think I'm gonna play with them. I don't really have it wasn't a goal of mine, but if that does happen, I'm like, it's hard for me not to have that in my like in the back of my head or my back pocket. You know what I'm
Kind of
saying?
like
Like
hate fucking.
it's not even hate fucking. It's like payback. Like, oh, that's what you wanted, or that's what you thought you wanted. Let's see if that's what you want.
You're just giving her exactly what she wants, honestly. Like, just
I don't,
don't even
man.
do
I don't.
anything.
Give me 1 second. I'm getting a bunch of fire notices. Let me just make sure I'm
Yeah, check your
good,
fire.
and then we will continue recording. This is how fast it's happening, people. By the way, like the fire pops up. The fires are kind of popping up so fast, and then you have to check watch duty. All right, I think I'm okay. If my phone starts screaming, then I'm out of here. So this is ongoing story number one that we're going to track for you, our listeners, for a while. See how Layla's relationship with Clyde develops. Yeah, where were we? New Year's. Okay, New Year's
Yeah,
resolutions.
what are your
Yes,
resolutions? Wait, can I guess?
go for it.
Okay, I think your resolutions are to go to the gym every day. I think that it is to maybe do some more one on one play, like your wife does more one on one play and you do more one on one play. I think that you have like goals for Simmer. I think you have like professional goals with your current career. That's it.
Yeah, okay. That's decent. So, I mean, I'm not going to say all my goals for the year because obviously my goals have all of that in it. I will say we do not have separate play plans right now, or like not one-on-one play is not a deal. Actually, our goal was to do a lot more couple play and less big party play.
Okay.
And even though Layla thinks I'm a jerk and like, you gotta, we were actually considering hanging out with some people where we realized we had this pattern where if a couple wasn't full swap, we wouldn't really hang out with them. And then like we wouldn't set up a play date with them because we're like, why would we set up a play date with them if they're not full swap?
You would still hang out with
And
them, but not set a play date with them.
oh yeah, we'll like go get dinner with you.
Got
But
it.
like when we thought about it, like, some of these people we like them, like what's wrong with us like going to hang out at their house and just like you girls play, or it just becomes an oral thing or no play at all. And so part of it was like us just like adjusting our own framework to be like, it's totally fine if we're gonna go home and sleep with each other anyway. So like let's just go create these experiments. We wanted to do more fun in the wild. So I have an ongoing story I'm excited to share with the tribe that is like trying to pull some ass out of the wild. But the biggest, so fitness wise though, so I'll tell you the one we're doing well on, and the thing I'm like failing on horribly. And I haven't even told my wife I'm failing at it, so she's gonna find out when she listens to the podcast. That's been awkward, by the way. Is my wife listens to the podcast now, and she'll come. So I got to be a little bit more careful with what I say.
Is she
'Cause
listening now?
Yeah,
love it.
she's come back at me with some stuff, and I was like, "Babe, I just said that for the podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that."
Yeah, we're
Such
chill.
a
We're
liar.
good. Yeah.
We're good. We're good. So I already work out every day, Layla. Stupid, but
He's like, that's not new, but anyway.
but
Too
I
fair.
did want to, but I wanted to. I was like, I'm gonna run at least 10 miles a week. I did throw that in there. Like I haven't been doing cardio as much. It's actually Ken's fault. Ken Fields was on the podcast a while back, and he was like, I don't do any cardio. I just lift weights. And so I was like, I'm gonna be like Ken because he's ripped. I was like, I'm just gonna lift weights. Ken and I have different body types. It has not worked out for me. So I'm just gonna go back to running 10 miles a week. That's been going fine. We're not drinking right now. We're not drinking, and that's been going great. Like we haven't had a drink since the 31st.
That was a dry January.
And that it's a dry January. It might go beyond that. Like I haven't really craved it. I haven't craved it, and I'm gonna come back to this, but
Okay.
I'll tell you why, and I'll share why a bit because I don't think people really know. But the one I also said I wouldn't watch porn, and that's been the hardest thing, honestly, because it wasn't just like not watching produced porn's been easy. Like not going to Pornhub.com, that's been no problem. What's been hard is like what counts as porn and what doesn't. Right? So for example, like Layla, you sent us a picture yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Is that porn?
Yeah.
And so like
I don't
what's
know.
been hard is like, man, what am I counting? What am I not counting? But so what I've been saying is like if I know the person, it doesn't count. Now
Yeah.
the problem is like we know porn stars. So like
Right.
you see like how this gray area is kind of like so I've been kind of struggling with that one. I realize I need to define that a lot better
Mm-hmm.
so that I don't feel like I'm failing at it.
Well, let's define it right now. I imagine that porn is going on the internet, and perhaps when people are sending you videos or pictures, that's not the type of porn that you're trying to steer clear from.
Yeah, that's like watching my own videos is not a problem.
Right.
Like not something I'm trying to steer clear from. Anything that I've personally experienced, because I think that's the whole point. Is like I'm trying to make sex like what I'm experiencing, not what the porn engine is trying to feed me.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge, and actually where it gets great too, is like if you're playing around with like OnlyFans and trying to understand how OnlyFans works, you got to go look at what other creators are doing,
Mm.
and so inevitably you're going to end up watching porn. So it's like, hey, how do you not drink? It'd be hard to drink if you worked in like the alcohol space, right? Like I do know that there's people that work at wineries who don't drink, but like man, that's really tough, right? Because they're gonna say, "What does this one taste like?"
Mm.
Damn. And now you have to use like what other people say. So I think that's part of why it's been challenging. But if I defined it as like going online, like you just said, to search for something and rub one out, then like in that I'm doing fine.
Why
But
is this something that you wanted to do? Like, was it becoming was it more of like a mental thing where you're like, I don't want to have to do this? Was it becoming like an addiction? Was it just like, I don't feel good this just doesn't feel good anymore?
So, all right. So, some background for everybody. This is going to get personal. True story. There's someone in my family who struggles with alcohol, and I talked about it a bit on a podcast. Layla and I recorded an entire episode about it, and we did not put it out because it was just like the emotions around it were too raw. I really didn't want to deal with it and things like that. What happened after that episode? One, someone in the community who's been on the podcast before actually found out about it and took me to my first Al-Anon meeting, which was awesome. So it was fun to have a listener listen and say, hey, I'm going to go with you to our first, AA type meeting together. That was dope. And then what happened a month after, maybe 2 weeks after we recorded that episode that we did not put out, and we probably won't, you guys, but this family member had a relapse, right? And it was really bad. I called Layla. Layla has been offering support with it for a while, and I'd been not so much resistant. I just thought my family would resist the support. I called Layla. The next day, Layla drives up from where she lives, which is like an hour away from my family. She's like, yo, we're taking her to rehab today. And so that day, like we dropped everything. Layla and I went and got this family member, and we took them 100 miles away and put them in a rehab facility. They've been in there for 30 days. They are doing fucking great. Like they are
I'm so
clear.
happy.
Their heads clear. They have like goals that they're accomplishing when they get out. They're getting out today, actually. This is
I have
January
goosebumps.
9th, and they're getting out today. They are committed to like handling stuff with their partner. The downside right now is like their partner is not meeting them in it. But so Layla, I just want to say, like, first of all, thank you for dropping what you were doing in your life to come help me grab this family member and take them to to know which facility to take them to get them in. We found out yesterday that her insurance is covering the entire cost. So it's not going to cost us anything out of pocket besides like the toothbrushes and stuff that I've had to pay for. So it was like straight up 30-day stay in a high quality rehab facility for $100.
Mm-hmm.
So she's doing great. She's almost scared to come home,
Yeah.
because she's about to be back around the triggers and stuff. And the family was all about it and supporting it. So because of that, like it helped me and my wife be like, yeah, obviously not drinking for January is like, let's do what she's doing, let's be sober for a bit. It also was like pissing me off that her partner wasn't as willing to go dry for a certain amount of time to support the effort. So that's been something that's pissed me off. How this connects to the porn was like, substance isn't my issue though.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, let me pick something that is harder for me and see if I can just like go cold turkey.
How often were you looking at porn before?
Probably just like a few times a week. So it wasn't anything crazy. And sometimes my wife and I were watching it together.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would like put it on TV and like have some fun. But still, like we just talked about on this episode, there's like some tension around how I'm even defining it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like if someone's an alcoholic, I don't know. I don't deal with alcoholics a lot, but I can imagine an alcoholic being like, okay, cool, I'm going to cut out whiskey and wine, but like tequila occasionally is okay. I'm not going to count that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like excuses.
The way you said that, there's an exact line in our basic text of AA that's like switching from scotch to whiskey, taking a trip, not taking a trip. Like, they'll try to navigate how they can kind of still play with it, and it just never works out, right?
Right. And so that's why I'm saying that and that. So now back to the porn thing. That's why I'm like, should the goal be to just like cut it all out? Like, I don't want to see no nudes at all.
Okay.
But I like when Layla sends me a nude. So it's a little challenging. That's why I was saying I need to redefine this goal.
Yeah.
For me to tell you how I'm doing with it.
Well, first of all, it was an honor to help you and your family, an absolute honor. And I know that I've, talked about being able to help out for a while now, but I never want to push, right? Because then no one's going to reach out to me because I don't ever want to appear pushy, right? Because at the end of the day, my life goes on. I don't need you guys, right? So I was like, these are my resources. Let me know when y'all are ready and when they're ready. Right. And you were really great about being like, okay, this is it. this is the time, let's go. And you and your family were all just so easy to work with. Honestly, out of the thousands of people I've worked with and families I've worked with, your loved one and your family was probably the easiest to work with. You guys were all just really motivated and ready to get your loved one help. And it really was a group effort. I just had the resources, but you guys were the ones that were able to like provide that emotional support that your loved one desperately needed.
Yeah, and I want to say that, thank you, Layla, and I want to say that I was wrong. You know, it's not the
Go on.
first time I've said I was wrong on the podcast, but
Man, am I wet?
um, what?
Am I freaking
There was a
wet from
fly in
hearing
my
that?
face. It was a fly telling me I was lying, and it was like hitting me in the face. Um, like again, people like we're probably not going to release this other episode, but in that, a lot of what I said was my family is not going to be open, and there's going to be a lot of resistance, and I was way wrong. I didn't realize how tired and like out of options they all were,
hmm
and I think that they wanted someone else to come and handle it.
hmm
So when when I showed up with Layla and we were like, we're handling it this way, there was zero pushback
Zero.
from
Zero. So
zero.
much so that we like put your loved one in my car and I was like, I'll come back and talk to you guys about what's going on. And your family was like, no need. Go. Just
Yeah,
go. We
they
trust
didn't
you.
even. They were just like, take. Yeah,
Yeah. And it was so wonderful to meet so much of your family. I mean, I wish it was under different circumstances, of course, but it was truly an honor. Really was an honor. And I was so happy to be able to help and support. And I'm so glad to hear that they're doing so well. I've been keeping up with them, like talking to the case managers, making sure they're still there and that they're still comfortable. And, like I've been checking in. So I'm really happy. And I hope that they
thank you,
continue to do well.
thank you, thank you, thank
but
you.
the
Okay,
porn thing, yeah, but that I'm proud of you for that. And that must be really
y-
hard. And I think a lot of men especially can relate to being like, maybe I should cut this out, but I also don't really want to. So I think a lot of people can relate to that. So I think like thank you for sharing that.
we'll revisit it. I'll talk about it some more. I think because like it's worth unpacking,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
um, so we'll talk about that. But I do have before we go today. I do have one ongoing story that is developing that I think is
Yes.
hilarious. All right, that I do want to share because it is. I think people are going to enjoy following this. But so we met. We met a couple at the gym. Okay, and the way we met them actually was my wife and someone else from the lifestyle space. They went to yoga together, and they saw this hot couple in the back, and they kind of described them, and they were like, "Yeah, they go to Equinox, right?" It's like, okay, great. And so I was at Equinox, and I saw this couple that might have been these people. And no, I'm willing to take a swing, Layla. There's like I went up to this couple and I was like, "Hey, did you happen to go to this yoga studio a week ago?" And they're like, "No." And then I was like, "Oh, my wife thought there was this hot couple. I thought you guys might be it." So I did compliment how they looked. So then
Cute.
like we became friends, and then they met my wife at the gym. They're both Filipina, so they were kind of connecting over culture and shit. I think they both wanted hot friends, and then they're like, "Hey, we should all go out on like a date together." But my wife and I are like, "Man, are they down though? Are they like?" Because we're curious. Like they're a good-looking couple, they're in great shape, but we're completely unclear whether they're down. And so one day, my wife comes home from the gym, and we need to give this girl a name. Let's call her Natalie. So Nat's like, so my wife comes home and she says, "Yo, I was talking to Nat in the steam room, which is itself hot." Um, and then she's like, "Yeah, Nat's like, man, and like Brian, he's like so hot. Like, how'd you find him? Like, he's like so attractive." It's like what? And so then we started to get our hopes up. We're like, man, maybe they are kind of down. So we were like, all right, we're gonna go on this date with them. They wanted to take us to Soho House in WeHo, which is really nice. It's like, all right. And so we went on a date with them. We're like, yo, we're gonna have some drinks. We're gonna see how it goes. And we were like, we're gonna at some point throughout the night, like you're gonna make a move on that, okay, and see how that progresses. And then what ended up happening is like out of nowhere, my wife just like got sick. She like almost fainted. And I think what happened was like that day, she worked a late shift, got off late, didn't sleep a ton. She went to the gym, got in the sauna. Then we went to this It's like she did a lot of things that you probably shouldn't do. You know how they say like don't like climb a mountain. Wait, was it like don't fly and snorkel on the same day? What's that rule? I don't know. She broke like a cardinal rule like that. And so obviously it didn't work out. And so, but when she was sick, Nat was getting kind of like really touchy with her and like sat on her lap and was kind of like rubbing her. And then the next day, so we ended up going home. And then the next day, my wife's like, by the way, Nat commented again yesterday on how much she thinks you're her type and like vice versa. I was like, okay, so maybe there is something here. So that's as far as we've gotten. We have not had the courage to just like straight up ask, and they haven't asked anything of us yet. Right. So it's like pure couple we met in the wild. They kind of give like could be open vibes, but it is not year. Where we're at now is like we all said we'd hang out again. And what I have to figure out is you don't want to like ruin a friendship, like a friendship that is brewing. I also don't want to burn a gym, like they're gonna be at the gym. I don't want to switch gyms if this goes horribly wrong.
Do they know about
I'm
y'all's
curious.
lifestyle though? Like, do they know you guys go to parties and that? Like, do they know that about y'all?
No, they don't know anything. We haven't said anything
Well,
about
what if you
this
guys
yet.
just like slid that in casually and is like, yeah, like we have friends that we do this with and, friends that we don't. And like, just like we're pretty fluid and like whatever, and just kind of give them that, like plant that seed.
You don't think we don't like our vibe is open vibe like all day long, right? You don't think they must have an inkling without us saying
I'm sure
anything.
they do.
So yeah, my vote is like let's just say something, and my wife is a little bit more hesitant because she wants like a friend like that. She wants another friend that she can like just like they can go to yoga together and look hot when they walk into yoga. She wants a friend that they can just like go meet for a drink. So I don't think she wants to mess up the friendship. But we got to know. So between this podcast and the next one, we will find out.
All right.
We will find out if they are open or not.
I'm stoked.
So wish me luck, dude, because I don't think I've sent you a picture of this person, but like she looks like we can blot this. So just blurp it out. Don't cut it, Annie, but blurp out the name. I say she looks a lot like.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
So now I have all sorts of fantasies going on about that combo too.
That's exciting.
So we're trying for everyone. For everyone. We're doing this for the plot, for all of us.
Bring them in. We want to meet them. We want to touch them. We want to smell them. Bring them on in. And guess what, Brian? I will still like them even if they don't want to fuck.
Fuck you, Layla. I knew that's where you were going.
I love them regardless. They bring value to my life regardless.
Here's the thing, Layla. I'm not going to bring them, though. I'm not going to bring them to a play party.
Stupid. I just can't with you. But that's exciting. And congratulations. And I hope that they fuck you real good.
Congratulations. There's nothing to congratulate
on the
yet.
possibilities. Well, y'all, they're like flirting and they're sitting on y'all's laps and you guys are going out. Like it's probably going to happen.
She's sitting on her, not y'all's. Like he's not sitting on my lap. That would be crazy.
That'd be cool. Okay. Whatever.
So we will update on this, and then we're not going to talk about this today. But you've been called out, Layla, multiple times for the lack of progress on your gangbang.
I know.
And so one thing we do get to do this year, and we'll hop on this in the next episode, people. So do come back. Is we are going to make Layla do some level of planning of her gangbang live on the call.
All right.
This might mean her like texting some people or something to make progress. So that is coming on the next episode. And if you don't do it, you're gonna have to sing. So
no, okay, I'll do it.
That's just how it goes.
I'll do it.
That's just how it goes. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone.
Back. So happy to be back.
Happy to be back. We hope that this last holiday season you tried something or tried someone new. And if you didn't, then that's your homework this week.
Then you're a fucking saltine cracker. Grow up.
Brian? Don't be a cracker. Until we see you next time. Try something or try someone new.